The NOMOS Zürich WELTZEIT, 10 years and kicking. It's been said that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, and while this particular NOMOS watch houses a real complication, it does shine indeed in its apparent simplicity. In a way, this is perhaps one of the most NOMOS of all NOMOS watches out there. The WELTZEIT has been around for quite some time now, more than 10 years at the time of this recording, yet it is, in my opinion, still pretty much unmatched. Now, before we continue, let's have a look at how we can read the time on this watch and, well, take it from there. WELTZEIT stands for World Time. However, I would say this is not exactly a world timer, which shows the time everywhere at once. This is instead more like a GMT, where you can see two time zones at any given time, home time and local time. So this is how it works. At a little home icon at 3 o'clock you can see the home time. Or if you so choose, you could sync this up with the display time. You could use this then to display the 24-hour time. The local time then is the displayed time, and you know where that is by looking at the city name at 12 o'clock. Now, world timer or not, check out how easy it is to flip through the different time zones. A simple press of the button and, well, you're done. Meanwhile, keeping the home time constant as you would expect, of course. And, well, yes, I must have pressed this button at least 1,000 times the first couple of days I had this watch, and, well, everything worked like a charm every single time. Now, adjusting the home time is done by pressing the little recessed button at 8 o'clock on the side of the case, and NOMOS provides a handy little tool alongside this watch to help you do just that. Now that we know how to read the time on this watch, let's take a look a little bit closer. So starting with the dial, the Zürich WELTZEIT exists in two dial options in the regular catalog. So reference 807, which we are looking at, has a midnight blue dial, and reference 805 has a white dial. I intentionally picked the blue not only because I like the color, but because my wrist is on the smaller side and a darker dial visually tends to wear smaller to my eye. As you can see here, the dial doesn't just look good from a distance, it also holds up extremely well up close, as do the rhodium-plated hands. The domed sapphire crystal has anti-reflective coating inside and out, and as you might see throughout the video here, a blue tint can sometimes be seen when the light hits the crystal just right. Then moving to the case, we have a lug width of 20 mm, a case diameter of 39.9 mm, a height of 10.9 mm, and a lug-to-lug of 49.4 mm. Now that lug-to-lug will sound scary to some, more on that in a bit. The case is fully polished and wears nice and compact. Here everything feels nice and in proportion. The case features a display case back, which then also reveals the wonderful movement. The watch features an in-house automatic caliber, equipped with a world time and 24-hour display. This caliber also uses the NOMOS swing system, their in-house escapement, which you can recognize by the blue hairspring. The power reserve is limited to 42 hours, which is nothing amazing, but sufficient as this is an automatic caliber in the end. Despite the complications, this is a very thin caliber at just 5.7 mm. If you haven't yet, make sure to watch our visit to the manufacture video on the channel, which gives you a detailed look at how NOMOS makes its own calibers. I'll put a link in the description. Now anyway, it isn't just an impressive caliber on paper, it's also very nice to look at, as you can see. I'm always impressed by how nicely the NOMOS calibers look from up close. Now on the wrist then, so how does it wear on the wrist? Well, as indicated, the case dimensions are, well, let's say hotly debated online. Especially the lug-to-lug size, which is almost 5 centimeters. In fact, it was the one point concerning this watch that had me write this one off as simply too big for my wrist. Now fast forward to me wearing the watch for some time now, and here, well, I have to say that it wears very well. In addition, due to the relatively complex dial layout, the dial also wears smaller than the overall dimensions would suggest. Result is that this watch will, in my opinion, fit more wrists than the dimensions would initially suggest, But of course, in case of doubt or, well, essentially just try before you buy and judge for yourself, of course. Thanks to the thinness of the watch, it also has no problem whatsoever fitting under a shirt cuff, which is always nice, and it's a very versatile watch which can be worn for most occasions, but keep it away from water as it's only splash proof. Now, would I be thrilled if NOMOS ever releases a smaller Weltzeit? Well, of course. Yet again, this size works as well and probably works for more people than if they were to make it in a smaller package. But here you go, one can always dream. Now, in conclusion, if you love the NOMOS design aesthetic and are in the market for a very versatile and nicely constructed watch with an in-house caliber with a world time display, then look no further. As said in the introduction, despite this watch being around for quite some time now, it knows essentially no equals and still outshines similar watches in a higher price category. Given the particular NOMOS proportions, as always, give this one a try on the wrist before you take the plunge.